Recently, people have been accusing Hasan Piker of doxing because get this, he watched my video that I made a couple of weeks ago where I just went over FEC filings by Progressive Victory, where a bunch of Destiny orbiters received $1,000 payouts from them. This is public information. In order to receive such payouts, you have to give, your name and stuff, because it has to all be above board. So it was public filings that all of them willingly made in order to receive thousands of dollars from Destiny adjacent organization, likely as hush money / to support Zionism. And Hasan Piker has been accused of doxing by all of the fucking biggest idiots in the world. Obviously, it's not doxing to look at public disbursement filings or whatever you call them. But they've been calling it doxing, and some of them have even been claiming this is a crime. One of my favorite YouTubers is Legal Mindset. Legal Mindset is like a slop tuber who uses his background as a former small-time civil litigation lawyer to pretend that anything that he says makes any sense at all and should be listened to. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He actually got his start from covering Johnny Somali's legal cases in South Korea. As if a minor American small-time civil litigator has any fucking idea about criminal law in fucking South Korea to be able to tell you about anything. But he's just like a slop tuber, basically. He's a slop tuber who pretends to be an authority on the law. And we're going to watch him claiming that Hasan Piker is going to jail for the 5th time. This guy has made so many videos on how Hasan Piker is in big legal trouble. Hasan Piker defamation. Hasan Piker guilty of terroristic threat. Legal troubles for Hasan. All these legal troubles. And then nothing ever happens. It's almost like he's making shit up. So let's check it out. Let's check out his latest slop video. Fast facts on how Hasan Piker is going to jail for going over FEC filings on his stream. I can't fucking wait. I love this guy. He just says the dumbest shit that he knows is not true endlessly because he knows that his right-wing audience of moronic idiots are going to lap it the fuck up.
Hasan Piker is in hot water yet again as he goes on.
No, he's not. No, he's not. Literally nothing's going to happen to him. Nothing. He's not in hot water at all. Nothing happened. Nothing happened here at all. What are you talking about?
Harassment spree. We're going to talk about today on The Legal Mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. I'm, of course, Andrew Esquire, American attorney, and this is a Fast Facts video, which brings you the quick and dirty version of the latest in legal news. If you like the Fast Facts, make sure to like the video and leave a comment below.
I'd like it, but I'm not signed
once again, is not learning from the past, is not learning from people telling him what to do because Twitch is not punishing him for previous bad behavior. And once again, we have Hasan engaging in activities which may very well violate California law and certainly violate...
Looking at FEC filings violates the law. Looking at public FEC filings violates the law.
Twitch's terms of service.
This is the sort of thing that he says because he just wants to make money. He's just a slop tuber. He doesn't believe this one bit. There's no fucking way anyone believes this. Claiming that it violates the terms of service of any social media platform is already bullshit territory. Claiming that it violates the law is insane. It obviously does not violate the law to look at fucking public FEC filings.
Let's get into the videos, which I posted on my account on X, where he goes through the prohibited behavior. So we'll play that.
Prohibited behaviors! Prohibited behaviors. I love him so much. He just makes shit up and couches it in official sounding terminology.
Here, and let you guys take a watch.
Yeah. Dylan Burns, Hunter Avalon, Hutch, Destiny's own personal chef. This is what happened. This is what took place. Mm-hmm. Okay. And the PAC actually did unironically raise a bunch of money off of people who thought that they were giving money to a political action committee that was going to go around and do door knocking campus operations, which they.
So you see there, and that's the end of the clip, where he is exposing these people.
Is that actually the end of the clip? I guess something was cut off.
Hunter Avalon, etc. All their names, their city, their state, their zip code. Right, he's putting out all their personal information here on the internet. And the problem with that is when you have 30,000, 20,000, 40,000 people watching live, and then the replays get a bunch. They get replayed everywhere. People react to them. So we're looking at potentially millions of eyeballs on this information.
This information was already public. It's public. Literally anyone can go there. Anyone. There's millions of people can go there. I also want to just talk about the narrative here that anyone cares enough about these people to even try to do anything against them, even if this idea of doxing was true. No one gives a shit about Hutch, Dylan Burns, Destiny's personal chef, Lonerbox. No one cares about these people. No one gives a shit about them. No one. These guys could make a video saying, hello, here's where I live. Please don't do anything bad to me. Ooh woo. And no one would do anything because no one cares about them. Who the fuck are these people? No one cares about them at all. That's why this information has already been out there for more than a year and it hasn't resulted in anything for them because no one cares about them. No one cares about these people enough to bother going to where they live and harassing them. That's not a thing. Give us a break. But that's beyond the point because this isn't their addresses, for one. And for two, it's public info. If you didn't want this to be out there, why did you accept money and then file it under like your real name and address and stuff? Why? You gave this out. It's like you broadcasted your address to the world and you're fucking surprised that now it's out there. But this isn't your address anyway, so it doesn't matter.
And you're putting those people in a position where anybody who doesn't like them, right, in this civil war that's going on and what might be
This
called...
isn't how the law works. You can't get in trouble for putting someone in a position. Like, arguably, it might violate California doxing law if you're like, this is this person's real name, this is where he lives, or like a ballpark of where he lives, go and do something to him, go and harass him. That would be against the law. Not just talking about, like, looking at a filing, not even saying, like, go and do anything to these people or anything like that. Just looking at a fucking filing, a public filing. That's obviously not doxing.
Online left, not that the political affiliations matter because they're completely irrelevant. Whether this happens on the left or right, it is still potentially illegal because these people's information is now out there. They're putting it out in a way where
it was already out there. It was fucking public
enemy, any person who hates them, whatever, that sees that is incentivized to go out.
Do you genuinely believe there are people just sitting there waiting to find out where fucking Hutch lives to go and do something? There's people out there just sitting there desperately waiting to find out where fucking Hutch of all people lives. No, there's not.
Out there and take some sort of action, especially knowing that things like this have happened in the past. For example, with Hunter Avalon, who's on that list, has had an incident in the past where he was almost killed with the crazy ex who came and shot his girlfriend. That whole situation.
What does that have to do with anything? Like a domestic fucking violence incident has nothing to do with this at all. And by the way, I don't believe what Hunter Avalon would say about that at all. Not at all. No.
So you've got, a history here where this can happen when information is put out there and you're putting these people at risk.
It didn't happen because his information was put out there. It happened because like his ex was cheating on him or some shit. And the guy like tried to attack Hunter Avalon for that. That's if the story is true. That's not the same fucking thing. The guy knew where they lived already.
This is something that a reasonable person whose information is put that on the internet in front of hundreds of thousands of people, potentially millions, is going to be afraid of. And that's what people who have seen this and reacted to this are saying. For example, here is Hutch, who is talking about this.
Aren't you a law YouTuber? Why would you cite Hutch for this? You're a law YouTuber. You're supposed to tell us about the law. Why are you telling us what Hutch said about this? Can we see something about the law, legal mindset?
Enforcement decides to actually look at this and take this seriously. The first one is electronic harassment. That's under 153.2 of the California Penal Code. And that one reads, every person with intent to place another person in reasonable fear for his safety or the safety of their family by means of electronic communication and without consent. Of course, these people didn't consent.
Okay, you skipped over the whole part. With intent to place another person in reasonable fear for his or her safety or the safety of the other person's immediate family. Where's that? It's not fucking there, is it, you dumb fucker?
And for the purpose of imminently causing the other person unwanted contact, injury, harassment by a third party. And
no, obviously. Obviously, that's not the fucking case. Otherwise, like basically every single time a journalist makes an article revealing something inconvenient about someone, that would qualify as electronic harassment. No.
They electronically distribute, publish emails, link hyperlinks, or make available personal identifying information, including but not limited to a digital image or electronic message of a harassing nature, which would be likely to incite or produce an unlawful action. Is guilty of a misdemeanor punishable by up to 1 year in jail or by a fine of not more than $1,000 or by both fine and imprisonment. So you see that here. So what do we have?
So we see that here. Why didn't you actually analyze like how this can possibly meet that? Where was the intent to harass these people? The intent there was to out them for receiving hush money from Destiny. That was the intent. For receiving money to incentivize them to do Zionist propaganda by Destiny. That was the intent. Not to seriously harass or torment them. Literally no one cares about them.
With electronic harassment, it doesn't in this statute anywhere say that the information has to be quote unquote private or secret or confidential. No, even public information that contains that identifiable information, the name, the address, the state, the city.
He's just skipping over all of it. He's skipping over like everything about there needs to be an element of intent. No legitimate person to Hasan's doxing, he says. I want to see that part. Where is his excuse for that?
At least annoyed, right? Seriously annoyed. So
it's not even doxing for one. But how is it not legitimate purpose to look at a public FEC filing to out people for receiving political payments to do political propaganda? How?
that standard. The other thing is there's no legitimate purpose to his doxing. Look, this is not to have some sort of fundraiser. This is not, a business saying, hey, go buy from them or whatever else.
What?
This is somebody's personal address at home, right? So
No,
there's
it's not their address at all. It's just, there wasn't their address.
no good reason why you need to be giving out that information. And, look,
It's an FEC filing. You need to show the FEC filing to show that they received the fucking money, you dumb fuck. That's a legitimate purpose.
the penalty is not crazy. It's 1 year in jail. It's not a life sentence. It's not the death penalty.
It's so funny. He's legitimately telling his audience that Hasan is going to jail for looking at FEC filings.
Right? But there is a consequence for this action, and this could
No,
stack
there's
with
not.
multiple
No,
people.
nothing's
Yes, that
happening.
could stack up. The other
Nothing.
statute is number 646.9. This is the California Penal Code, and this is when any person willfully, maliciously, or repeatedly follows or willfully, maliciously harasses another person and who makes a credible
Who
threat.
makes a credible threat with the intent to place that person in reasonable fear for their safety. Dude, are you reading what you're saying? Where was the threat? Where was the malice? It's not
to place that
there.
person in reasonable
You're
fear
skipping
for the
over
safety of their
everything. You're skipping over like the most important parts of this.
family, and that's once again punishable by the same penalty. So to harass, once again, means to seriously alarm, annoy, torment, or terrorize, right, through your conduct. Okay, and it can be electronic. So credible threat means verbal or written, including performed through the use of an electronic communication device. So when you're using the internet, that counts. That's
You missed the whole part about intent and malice. You didn't tell us how this meets that.
enough, right? And
Because the intent is to out people for receiving shady political payments to influence their politics. That was the intent. That's not malicious intent. So it doesn't apply in any of these cases. Think about it for
what is this intending to do?
I mean, obviously he knows this. This guy acts as an authority figure for lobotomized moron right-wingers who just want to believe what he's telling them. Like, he's like a small claims lawyer just reading laws verbatim and not actually explaining to you how and why they apply. And skipping over the most important parts of them every single time, in fact. And this is like the best they got. This is the best they got for
Well, it's intending to alarm, annoy, torment, terrorize
amazing.
those people. There's no legit purpose for this. And you don't need to prove under these statutes, a cyber stalking statute, or rather the stalking statute that has a cyber element, it does not require you to prove that they're actually harmed, just that you are causing them fear. And I think, once again, a reasonable person
It requires you to prove that there is intent and malice. There's none.
would be in fear after hearing this under California law. So, you could stack up those two charges. Look at that. Just those two charges from one person. Well, it's up to 2 years there and a fine. I mean, that's pretty serious time there. Now let's look at Twitch's liability. So Twitch, at this point, we heard Hutch say he's informed Twitch.
This is so fucking funny.
And I'm sure there's other people that have. So at this point, Twitch knows. Twitch cannot say they don't know. Dan Clancy cannot say, I was unaware of this. I didn't know this was happening. And at this point, under their own policy, which very much describes doxing as showing the real name, contact information, social security number, and home address. So you've got the three: real name, contact, home address. You've got that information out there that he's putting out.
The home address isn't there. It was zip code and city. Okay. There was no contact information. There was no social security number, and all of their real names are already public. In fact, each and every one of them literally goes by their real name. That's why his name is Hutch. His name is Sean Hutchinson. It's been public for like 10 years. Hunter Avalon's name is literally his channel name. You must be kidding me.
There, that's clearly doxing.
Dylan Burns'
Now,
name is literally his channel name.
they do have another section which I'm not showing here, which is okay. Well, not all doxing is necessarily illegal. If something is public, it's not necessarily illegal, and that is true because in certain states, it's only private information or confidential information, etc. In other states, the statutes are ambiguous, but California is pretty straightforward. California includes information,
It's pretty straightforward about the need to be intent and malice.
even that is public, and in their policy, it doesn't matter either. Just like was read earlier, doxing of any kind is prohibited under Twitch's community guidelines, even if the
This guy
perpetrator
is just such a fucking slop too. But his entire thing is, I'm somehow an authority because I'm a failed small claims lawyer who fled the US because I was in $40,000 of credit card debt to Wells Fargo. Now let me try and tell you about criminal law and skip over the most important parts of that criminal law to make you think that for the 10th time in 6 months, Hasan Piker is definitely going to prison because I told you so. He's not in prison yet, but don't worry, this fucking time he's going to prison. This guy's going to be making videos about how Hasan Piker is going to prison in 5 years' time, and Hasan will never have been to prison still. And his fans will be none the wiser because they lack object permanence.
only expose information available via public record. So you see right there, it doesn't matter if the PII was public. If it's released without consent, file a report, we'll investigate and enforce against the doxer if appropriate. So they're choosing to say that his behavior is okay. And what I'm saying here is they've been informed, they've been alerted, they allow this. At this point, they're allowing it repeatedly. It's not just a one-time thing. I've talked about this before. This has gone again and again. It's a clear violation of the terms of service. It's openly disregarded due to bias. And
the terms of service are not legally binding. Like Twitch, it doesn't even matter if your interpretation of this was true, which it's obviously not, because obviously these people already have their names public. Their address wasn't there. That's not true. You're lying. Obviously, legitimate reason to go over it, which is they receive money to do political propaganda. So there's no liability for Twitch. There's already no liability for Hasan legally. There's no liability for fucking Twitch. Give me a break.
It's not speculative at all. There's a bias here. They've got Hasan as the golden boy. We get it. He obviously gets a slap on the wrist when everybody else would get a permanent ban or a very, very, very long-term ban for the exact same conduct. This opens the door.
No, they wouldn't. No, they fucking wouldn't. That just doesn't happen.
Escalation to situations like what happened to Hunter Avalon.
When has anyone ever been banned on Twitch for saying the name of a creator whose username is their name? Tell me one time.
Unfortunately, right? No one wants these things to happen. Of course, if there was a situation where somebody unfortunately had an incident where there's an assault, a battery, even, like I said, an attempted murder, right? These things can all happen.
That's not how it works. Like, even if that did happen, without intent and malice from the person who talked about it, without literally like them threatening the person themselves or trying to incite others to like directly, not just you implying they did when they didn't, there's no crime. It's fucking clear. Have you read the laws that you showed on the screen that you read yourself? If this happens,
Twitch will then have blood on its hands because they have known this stuff could happen. They have known these situations can happen, and they have ignored that. When a third party takes action based on what Hasan is doing or based on what any other content creator on Twitch is doing, that can come back to them. That can absolutely come back to them, and it will. And it's playing with fire.
And it will. And it will. And it will. Oh, that is a big statement. He just outright said that it's definitely happening. It's not happening. Nothing's going to happen. Like, it's got to be like the 10th time he said that Hasan is going to jail in 6 months. This is the content that he has now because the Johnny Somali stuff has dried up.
It's absolutely dangerous. It's reckless. And at this point, it's willful. It's willful. They know what they're doing and they're choosing willfully to ignore it. But I want to know what you guys think in the comments below.
What a great channel. Legal Mindset is just the sloppiest of the slop tubers, man. What's that haircut as well? That's even weirder than my haircut. I don't even think you can call what I have a haircut. Hasan Piker is fucked. It's the end for Hasan Piker. It's over. Hasan Piker's going to prison. Look what happens in 6 months when he's still not in prison, unfortunately. He should be in prison, in my opinion. He should be in prison for not interviewing Hamas. That's my opinion.